Hi everyone, myself Devashish Padhi, faculty, Chikati Mahavidyalaya. This is the ongoing series of your software engineering. In the last class, in the last recording, I have already told you about software design. In software design, we have discussed about coupling, types of coupling, cohesion, types of cohesion. From examination point of view, this is very important long question. In the exam, it is asked that what is coupling, types of coupling, or what is cohesion, types of cohesion, or in otherwise they will ask you explain about software design. Hope you go through my recordings and understand it well about coupling and cohesion, and I hope you will practice the topics until it will be by heart to you. Today we will discuss another new topics of your software engineering that is also included in your software development life cycle. From the examination point of view, this is also very important. That is nothing but testing. That is nothing but software testing. After the software engineers writing the code, and before it is delivered to the client side, testing must be done to find out the errors in the software code. Today we will discuss different terminologies associated with testing and different types of testings that are present. See, there are hundreds of testings are possible, but from the syllabus point of view, we will discuss some of them of the testing, like your unit testing, black box testing, white box testing, acceptance testing, system testing. We will discuss all of this testing procedure in briefly. So let us start today's topic of software testing. So first we will discuss generally what is the testing. In layman words, layman means in general term, testing is the process of finding the errors. If I can test one module, if I can test something, that means I want to find the errors present there. So in layman words, testing means to find out the errors. See, here it was written as testing is the process of demonstrating that errors are not present. We will confirm in the testing procedure that errors are not present in the code. The purpose of testing is to show that a program performs its intended function correctly. What is the purpose of testing? The main purpose of testing is whatever the functions present in the program that are works correctly. The functions that are present in the program are works correctly. That is the main aim of testing. Next thing is, testing is the process of establishing confidence that a program does what it is supposed to do. If I can test one program, if I can test one module, if I can test one program, then we are in a confidence that what the program will do exactly, the program will work in a similar manner. That means we are in a confidence mode that whatever the client's expectation, we will meet that expectation in an easy manner, in a suitable manner. Okay. Somehow these definitions are not correct. Why I am saying that these definitions are not correct? Because these are the layman words. Anyone can say about this that testing is generally used to find out the errors. But if I can say technically what is generally testing, testing is the process of executing a program with the intent of finding errors. See, in the previous definition, there is no word of executing the programs. There is only one thing to finding the errors. But technically it is said that testing is the process of executing a program with the intent of finding the errors. I can execute the program, and what is my aim? My aim is to find the errors. Okay. Or in simpler word, you can say that testing is nothing but to find out the errors or to find out the bugs. Errors and bugs both are similar. Bugs means errors. B-U-G-S, bugs means error. Testing is the process of executing a program. We can execute the program so that we can find the errors present on the code. Then the question is, why should we test? See, we have already discussed about different life cycle models, and most importantly we have briefly discussed about software development life cycle. In case of software development life cycle, there is a step known as the testing step, and there is also one step that is known as deployment step. Deployment step means deliver step. If I can develop a software and deliver the software without testing, then it may lead to failure of the software, or it may lead to increase the cost of the software. Why I am saying these things? Now, suppose our program is generally written in one programming language, and I develop the program and implement it in a software form without testing. Then client can use the software, and if any type of problem arises, then client can throw away the software into the programmer's face. Okay, so there must be the testing step in every software development life cycle. Here, see, although software testing is itself an expensive activity, yet launching of software without testing may lead to cost potentially much higher than that of testing, especially in system where human safety is involved. Okay, so if I can't test one module and implement it, so there may be chance of crashing the software. And here one line is written, see, the thing is, especially in system where human safety is involved. See, we are developing so much software, and in today's life everything is computerized manner. That means everywhere the humans are using the software. Let us consider one simple example. Let us consider my company or my team developing one software that is generally used for weather forecasting. If I develop the software and deliver the software to the client side without testing, then there may be a chance of some errors. There may be a chance of some errors. Some errors means my software cannot predict the environment correctly. So whenever the client side uses the software, they cannot easily correctly predict the weather forecast. If in any time there may be flood or there may be a cyclone arises, then my software cannot predict exact time of the cyclone, exact time of the flood, so that there may be the chance of increasing the risk of human safety. Or if my software is built for medical purpose, there may be also a chance of human safety. So for every software, testing must be required before delivering of software. If any problem arises during the testing phase, then testing team must return the module, must return the project again to the coding phase, again to the software programmers, so that the software programmers again correct the code and again transfer it to the testing team. In the software life cycle, the earlier the errors are discovered and removed, the lower is the cost of their removal. If I remove the errors as early as possible, so there may be a chance of lowering the cost . Okay, so next, who should do the testing? Then the question is, who do the testing? The testing requires the developers to find errors from their software. This is the main point, to find the errors from their software. Second is, it is very difficult for software developers to point out errors from own creation. If I create my own software and there is difficult for finding the errors. If I can develop the software, then that is difficult for me to find out the errors. If I can develop something, then that is impossible to find out the error. Error must be find out from outside peoples. Always in real life also, if I construct one house, then that house must be perfect for me. But if I can show the house to my neighbors, the neighbor can find out the errors in the house. Okay, so whatever the human beings created, that is very difficult for finding the errors, but outside people may find errors easily. In the similar manner, the software developer may find difficulty for pointing out the errors. So many organizations may create some separate team members for this testing phase. Okay, many organizations have made a distinction between development and testing phase by making different people responsible for each phase. For each phase in software development life cycle, for designing phase there is separate team, for coding phase there is separate team, for testing phase there is separate team, for requirement gathering there is separate team. So for every and each phase, separate team members must be employed for doing the task correctly. Okay, so for testing also, testing teams must be present in the software industry. Okay, then what should we test? We should test the program's responses to every possible input. I can give each and every possible input so that the output is correct for every possible input. It means that we should test for all valid and invalid input for the software. Let us consider, I will create one page that I will create one user interface that will accept the user ID and password for the user. So what the software tester will do, software tester give all the possible for the password so that will meet the SRS document. Okay, that means I can give every possible input so that the software will work properly for that input and gives correct result according to the input. Okay, next, software testing has different objective. The major objective of software testing are finding the defects which may get created by the programmer while developing the software. This is the first point. Okay, what is the objective? The first objective is finding the defect. Second is to make sure that the end result meet the user requirement. Second objective is the end product, whatever we produce, that is the end product, that always meet the user requirement. What the user wants, that must be there in our software. Okay, to ensure that it satisfies the SRS, that is system requirement specification. In the requirement gathering phase, whatever requirements we are gathered from the client side, that must be specified in the SRS document. That means all the requirements are written in the SRS document. That means my software must follow the SRS document so that the client is satisfied with my software. Next is to gain the confidence of the customer by providing them a quality product. This is one of the testing objective. The testing team gain the confidence of the customer by providing them the good quality product. Then these are the principles of software testing. Okay, testing shows presence of defects, exhaustive testing is impossible, early testing, defect clustering, the pesticide paradox, testing is context dependent, absence of error fallacy. Okay, this is not in your syllabus, so we are not discussing, or we are not go in depth of all of these things. Okay, Next, some of the important terminologies of testing: errors, box, fault, failure. Okay. What is generally error? Error is nothing but it is the human action that produces the incorrect result, that produces a fault. Error is nothing but it is a human action, and due to this human action always incorrect results are produced, and that incorrect result is otherwise called as my fault. Okay, from error we can get a fault. Then what is generally bug? The presence of error at the time of execution of a software. Whenever I can execute a software, if any type of error will be occurred, that is otherwise known as box. Okay, box means whenever we can execute a software, if any type of error will be occurred, then that is known as my bug. And what is error? Error is nothing but incorrect result produced by the human. Okay. Next thing is fault. State of software caused by an error. Whatever we have discussed from here, from the error it results a fault. Or you can say that fault is nothing but it is state of a software. Software's one state is known as fault, and fault is occurred by the error. Next thing is failure. Deviation of the software from its expected result, it is a failure. If my software is not working properly, then it does not give expected result. That is known as my failure. All the things, errors, box, fault, failure, are closely related to each other, but there is a small difference between them. From the error there is some fault. From error, bug will be arises during execution. If error, bug and fault, all the things are there, my software is not working in a correct position, correct manner, and that may cause a failure. Okay, these are the terminologies associated with your testing. Okay, there are different types of testings are there. The most widely used testing process consists of 3 stages, that are unit testing, integration testing, system testing. We will discuss one by one. What is unit testing, what is integration testing, and what is system testing. So let us start first unit testing. First we will discuss what is generally a unit. Unit is nothing but a small part of a big program, or you can say that this is a module of a big program. If I can write a program of 100 words or 1000 words, then if I can extract 100 words from that program, then these 100 lines are known as my unit. Or in simpler term, you can say that unit means a part of a big program. Unit means a part of a big program. Okay, unit is the smallest testable part of an application. Like you can say that unit is a function, unit is a class, unit is a procedure, or unit is a interface, or unit is a module. This is the different names of your unit: functions, classes, procedures, interface. Okay, so what is generally unit testing? Unit testing is a method by which individual units of a source code are tested to determine if they are fit for use or not. So unit testing is nothing but I can test one small function of a program, one small unit of a source code. Unit means some part, some small part of a source code, that is known as unit. And testing means find out the box. Then unit tests are basically written and executed by software developers. It is generally written and executed by software developers. Unit testing is done by software developers to make sure that code meets its design and requirement and behaves as expected. We have already discussed about this is the aim of testing. I can test the code so that it meets its design and requirement. Whatever we are gathered in the requirement phase, that must be meet. Whatever we can design in the designing phase, that must be meet. So unit tests are basically written and executed by software developers to make sure that code meets its design and requirement and behaves as expected. What I expect, that must be meet my expectation. Okay. Next, the goal of unit testing is to segregate each part of the program and test that the individual parts are working correctly. What is the goal? Now the goal is to segregate each part. Segregate means to differentiate each part and test each part, test each individual part so that each individual parts are working correctly. Instead of testing the whole program, I can divide the program into separate units and separate units are individually tested. This means that for any function or procedure, when a set of inputs are given, then it should return the proper values. If I can give some of the input, it returns the proper result. It should handle the failure gracefully. Gracefully means easily, very easily or very beautifully during the course of execution when any invalid input is given. If I can give any invalid input, it should handle very beautifully. Then what are the advantages of unit testing? Now issues are found at early stage. Issues means different types of errors. If I can break the whole module into different parts, different units, and tested each unit separately, then errors are found at an early stage. Okay, since unit testing is carried out by the developers when they test their individual code before the integration, hence the issues can be found at a very early stage and there without impacting the other pieces of code. Why without impacting the other piece? Because we are segregate the different parts of the same module. Okay, so whatever errors present in one modules, that cannot be affect into the other modules or other units of the program. Second thing is unit testing helps in maintaining and changing the code. This is possible by making the codes less interdependent so that unit testing can be executed. See, if the codes are dependent with each other, then unit testing not works in a proper manner. That means from the beginning point of the time, we can write the units, we can write the modules in such a manner that each and every module can be less dependent with each other. Hence, chances of impact of changes to any other codes get reduced. Okay. Third one is, since the bugs are found in unit testing, hence it also helps in reducing the cost of bug fixes. So if errors are found in the early stages, cost may be reduced. Just imagine the cost of bug found during the later stage of development, like during the system testing or during the acceptance testing. Cost may be increases if errors can be found in a later phases. If errors are found in a early stages, then cost may be reduced to some extent. Unit testing helps in simplifying the debugging process. Okay, if suppose a test fails, then only latest changes made in the code needs to be debugged. Okay, then component testing, it is also called as module testing. Why I am giving this idea? Now unit testing and module testing both are closely related to each other. Unit testing and module testing. Module testing is otherwise called as component testing. What is the basic difference? In case of unit testing, the developers test their piece of code, but in component testing, the whole component is tested. In case of unit testing, developers test only a piece of a code, but in case of component testing, the whole module is tested. This is the main difference. Okay, there are problems associated with testing a module in isolation. Okay, next two important terms are there in unit testing, that is known as stops and drivers. Okay, so what is the stops and what is the driver? Drivers can call it, stops to be called by it. This is the main point. Drivers can call, stops can be called. Okay, stops serve to replace modules that are subordinate to the module to be tested. A stop or a dummy subprogram, stop is nothing but a dummy subprogram, uses the subordinate modules interface, may do minimal data manipulation, print verification of entry and returns. What is the main work of stops? The main work of stops are, it generally do the data manipulation, print verification of entry and returns the result. Okay, so see, this is nothing but my stops and the drivers. What is a driver? Now a driver calls the component to be tested. Driver calls the component, a component that calls the tested unit. That means driver is in a position to call someone, to call a component to test, but a stop is called from the software component to be tested. It is called from the software. See, driver can call the tested unit, but this stop is present in the tested unit that can be called by the driver. Okay, driver can call, stop can be called. Make a difference. This is call and this is a called. Okay, for example, let us consider I am a teacher. I can call Ram and Ramo is called by me. Okay, I can call Ram, Ramo is called by me. This is the difference. Driver can call the component, stop can be called by the driver. Okay, this is otherwise you can think that in function call is there, function definition is there. Main function calls some function, or you can say that some function is called by the main function. Okay, so this is the difference. Next, stop is a dummy modules that simulate the low level module. Stops are always distinguished as a called program. Stops is nothing but is my called program. We can say that stop is nothing but a called program, and driver can call the stops. And driver can call the stops. Okay. Test stops are mainly used in top-down approach. Stops are computer program that act as a temporary replacement for a called module and give the same output as the actual product of the software. And driver is also a dummy module. See, stop is also a dummy module. Driver is a dummy module that simulate the high level module. Drivers are also considered as the form of dummy module, which are always distinguished as a calling program. See, drivers are the calling program, but stops are the called program. Stops are called, but drivers are calling. Make a difference. Drivers are calling, but stops are called. And that is handled by bottom-up integration testing. But see, stops are top-down. Stops are top-down approach, but drivers are bottom-up approach. Remember these points. Drivers are the dummy program, but it is a calling program. Stop is also a dummy module, but it is called a called program. Stops are generally the top-down approach, but drivers are the bottom-up integration approach. Okay, so this is all about your unit testing. Okay, so I can finish the today's class. In the next class we will discuss some of the other important aspects of your testing. Go through my lectures, my recordings. Okay, like it or subscribe my channel. If any problem arises, then please call me. Thank you.